All right, picture this. A man is dead. He's in a room and it's locked from the inside. The police, they're totally baffled. They're calling it the perfect crime. But they missed something, one tiny, tiny detail. So today, we're going to explore exactly how the legendary Arsène Lupin unraveled this impossible murder using, get this, nothing more than a single piece of straw.
So, how do you solve something like that? Seriously, imagine for a second you're the detective on the scene. You've got a body, a room locked tight from the inside, and absolutely zero clues. Nothing. The police are just stumped. It's the ultimate puzzle, right? I mean, where would you even begin?
Well, the key to this entire thing, it isn't some smoking gun. It's not a secret witness stepping out of the shadows. Nope. It's something so small, so completely worthless looking that the police didn't even bother to bag it as evidence. Okay, so let's set the stage. To really appreciate the genius we're about to see, you have to understand just how flawless this crime looked. I mean, the investigators, they were looking at something that felt more like a supernatural event than a simple murder. Let's just run through the facts, because they're absolutely baffling. First off, the victim was stabbed straight through the heart. But there's no weapon, anywhere. The room is perfectly neat, no sign of a struggle at all. The police did a full sweep and came up with a big, fat nothing. No fingerprints, no footprints, not a single stray thread. It's a completely sterile crime scene. It's almost like a ghost did it. And, well, that's pretty much the official conclusion. The police have absolutely nothing. They can't find a suspect because they can't even begin to figure out how the murder was even possible. So, for all intents and purposes, the case is basically closed before it even gets started. It is the very definition of a dead end. But of course, this is where our guy, the one and only Arsène Lupin, steps onto the scene. And yeah, where everyone else saw an empty, sterile room, Lupin's eyes locked onto the one thing that just didn't belong. And this right here is where everything pivots. It's all about perspective. The police, they look at the floor and they see a piece of random debris. Just trash to be swept away. It's worthless to them. But for Lupin, oh no. For Lupin, this tiny, out-of-place object isn't a dead end. It's the starting point. It's not just a clue. It's everything. So what is this thing? It's le fétu de paille, which is French for the straw. Just a single piece of straw lying on the carpet. Now think about that for a second. We're in a pristine city apartment. No pets, no recent farm deliveries. So why in the world would there be a piece of straw here? See, it's not just litter, it's an anomaly. And for a mind like Lupin's, an anomaly is basically a giant flashing sign that says, dig here. And this is where the magic happens. From this one tiny piece of straw, Lupin is about to build the entire story of the murder. The who, the why, and the how. What you're about to see is just a breathtaking display of pure deductive logic. Okay, so check out this chain of logic. First, Lupin doesn't just see straw. No, his encyclopedic knowledge kicks in. He identifies it as a very specific type of oat straw, the kind used almost exclusively as bedding for racehorses. Boom. Just like that, the pool of suspects shrinks from, all of Paris down to a very specific group of people: jockeys, grooms, trainers. So next, he starts digging into the victim's life with that new focus. And what does he find? Turns out the victim was blackmailing someone from a racing stable. And there you have it. He's got his suspect, and he's got a rock-solid motive. So, Lupin's got the who and the why figured out. That's huge. But there are still two massive questions hanging in the air. Number one, what was the murder weapon? And number two, how on earth did the killer lock the door from the outside to create this perfect locked room mystery? Well, the weapon mystery? It kind of solves itself once you know the killer's job. See, they didn't use a regular knife or a gun. They used a tool of their trade, something like a sharpened farrier's file, maybe a big leather-working needle. It's sharp, it's deadly, and it's super easy to hide. They brought it with them, they used it, and they took it away, leaving absolutely nothing for the police to find. And now for the locked room trick. And this is just brilliant. The killer threaded a thin loop of string through the keyhole from the outside. But to guide that loop onto the key or the latch on the inside, they needed a thin, stiff little tool. And what do you think they used? Yup, another piece of straw. They used the straw to guide the string, turn the key, and then they just pulled the string right back out, leaving the door locked tight. The very tool they used to create the illusion. was the clue they left behind. And here's the beautiful, incredible irony of it all. The killer planned everything meticulously. They wore gloves, so no prints. They were silent. They took the weapon with them. It was almost perfect. But they were undone by the one tiny thing they couldn't control. A single piece of straw, just clinging to their clothes from their job at the stables, fell onto the floor. And that one tiny, overlooked little thing, that was the thread Lupin pulled to unravel the whole shebang. You know, this story is so much more than just a clever puzzle. It's really a foundational piece of the whole detective genre, and you can still feel its influence today, for sure. I mean, this story is just a masterclass in minimalist brilliance. The entire complex mystery hangs on one single tiny object. It's the ultimate nothing is insignificant detective story, and its impact on the genre is massive. Seriously, every time you watch a modern crime show and see the detective solve a case with like a rare pollen grain or a specific type of mud on a shoe, you're watching the legacy of this story. It's a total celebration of knowledge. It proves that a detective's greatest weapon isn't a gun. It's a mind that can see a whole universe where other people just see a speck of dust. And that's what makes it so deeply satisfying, right? The killer isn't caught because of some clumsy mistake. No, they're defeated intellectually. They are completely and totally outthought by a genius who could literally read a story in a piece of straw. They're so stunned they have no choice but to confess. It's just a total triumph of the mind. So, this really leaves us with a powerful question to think about. In our own lives, with all the constant noise and the flood of information, what are the pieces of straw that we're overlooking every day? What tiny, seemingly insignificant detail might just hold the key to your biggest puzzle?